in all these long centuries of which we boast.
It's perfectly ridiculous when that Myrna Wilkins is always boasting about her husband. I say my...
Some young page was boasting about having seen it.
Well, you're wrong.
Boast.
I don't mean...
If the ship's as fast as is boasting, we ought to do well.
Boastful, lustful, smutty, infantile.
He could not boast any scientific achievement.
Where's the patience now that you so often boasted to retain?
Observe that there has never been a period in all these long centuries of which we boast when an absolute...
You know, Henry, I think it's perfectly ridiculous when that Myrna Wilkins is always boasting about her husband. I say my husband's just as good as your husband, even if you don't think so.
Where did you find it, by the way? Some young page was boasting about having seen it. Lucky.
Girl who's wandered into the boys' locker room. Well, you're wrong. I don't mean to boast, but I happen to be one of the two most intelligent people involved.
I got a feeling she could do better.
You're boasting. What do you have, whiskey?
What do you got?
Whiskey.
If the ship's as fast as is boasting, we ought to do well.
Because you choose for your instrument a boastful, lustful, smutty, infantile boy, and give me for reward only the ability.
Or a ruler of vast lands. He could not boast any scientific achievement or artistic gift. Yet man...
Where's the patience now that you so often boasted to retain?
Likes to have you close to her, is it not?
Oh, without boasting, I believe she prefers me to many. She prefers my style to the Italian, it is.
True.
So why do your people boast about your powers?
I've never said these things in my life to them.
Long run. I'll get him. Well, I won't have helped. That'll be a fine boast to make. Well, I always wanted you to catch that plane, didn't I? You all did.
Say she is accomplished. The word is indeed applied too liberally. I cannot boast of knowing more than half a dozen women in all my acquaintance that are truly accomplished.
All right.
Wow. Thanks.
Wow.
Was that a boast or a cry for help, Martha? I couldn't quite tell from your tone of voice.
The miracle of...
Not yet 20 years old. I don't think I have to.
Do you have to boast about your age?
Do you want to tempt the evil eye?
Oh, an invitation of Cornelius Fudge himself.
Don't boast, Draco. There's no need with these people.
It's all of this place swaggering and boasting.
That's the way I felt once about their swaggering and boasting.
Oh, Red, I'm so glad you aren't with the army.
Stabs. I don't like to boast, but I got one of the largest known stamp collections.
A swell lot of thieves.
You've little enough to boast about, sir. The world hasn't come to an end just because we've run into a little setback. I must ask you for that envelope.
I tell you a simple fact, and I'm not boasting.
Boasting?
The French women, the Swedish women...
I'm not trying to boast, but I feel a great sense of pride in what we do.
No, I wasn't. Just, he looked at me like you haven't got much to boast about.
You still see him?
Everything
on the Bible, am I not? I believe it is not boastful to say that I have studied the Bible as much as any layman, and I have tried to live according to its precepts.
Together. Well, it's an ugly boast. It isn't a boast, but a fact.
From you. Only food, water, and some cactus whiskey if that sign's not an idle boast.
Nothing on that sign is an idle boast.
That trace him in his line. No boasting like a fool. This deed I'll do before the purpose cool.
He described the king and the ministers, boasted that the British ambassador in Berlin was his uncle, and even offered Captain Pottsdorf a letter of introduction.
She boasted once that her father had taught her to be a crack shot, and her boast was not an idle one.
I saw that the government is not returned to the forthcoming election. The government's big boast, as you know, sir, is the way they have dealt with crime during the last few months.
Each battle sees the other's umbered face. Steed threatens steed in high and boastful neighs, piercing the knight's dull ear.
Our colleagues have a kind of technical intelligence, but they're either self-satisfied, drunkards, or degenerates, and